Hi everyone, so this video is going to be about OpenAI and Hugging Face incident. Basically, to give you a short summary, OpenAI was testing their new agent called as GPT 5.6 Soul along with another unreleased model without using any guardrails to solve a benchmark called as ExploitGem. ExploitGem is a platform, is a repo to basically test AI models' performance against real world vulnerabilities. So there are different vulnerabilities in different directions: system level, kernel level, web engine related. Models are supposed to solve those problems and get to the solutions. However, what the OpenAI models realized was that it was easier to cheat on the exam than solve the exam, which makes this really interesting. So instead of solving each vulnerability, they thought of escaping the sandbox, hacking into Hugging Face because apparently it contained the answer key, and get the answer key to score highest in the benchmark. We'll go into details of what happened, how it happened. So the AI model agent was running in a sandbox. In computer terms, a sandbox is an isolated, segregated environment where anything you do doesn't really affect anything else in the world. So let's say some engineer, chemical engineer is trying to make some compound. You give them a separate space to let them test anything they want to, and even if they make something which is very dangerous for real world, it stays within that room and you lock the room. They cannot escape from the room. They make it, they stay there. However, in this case, the AI model was actually able to get out of the sandbox environment, and it did that by getting an exploit to the only connection possible. So there was a proxy for installing packages, dependencies, for the software, for the AI agent to write the exploit itself and use it during the exploitation phase. So there was a third party proxy used. It found a 0 day in that proxy and was able to laterally move into other computers and able to get access to the internet. Hackers have been using the same techniques for decades, but an AI agent doing it itself is great achievement in itself, and concerning at the same time as well. The next thing was Hugging Face realized that there is something wrong. They received over 17,000 actions in just matter of 2 days. So, generally, how blue teams, the defense side of a organization works is that they they have time to respond to every incident, because an attacker cannot do every single thing in a very short span of time. However, the AI agent can. It can do things really fast, really complex in a short span of time. That is, it reduces the observe, orient, decide, and act loop, which is basically how you decide on what to do next based on the previous input or the response or the output you receive from the previous input. So OpenAI models, once they realized the Hugging Face was likely hosting the answer keys for ExploitGem, the benchmark, they started interacting with the Hugging Face to get to the part where it contained answer keys, and tried to exploit and got into Hugging Face infrastructure. Ideally, the guardrails are turned on for public models. For example, if you try to ask GPT 5.5 to craft an exploit for one of the vulnerabilities, it will straightforward refuse that this won't be possible. But this was not the case in this scenario, and the reason was the objective behind it. The objective was to study how the model reacts and finds its way, and for that they have to disable guardrails to ensure the model does not state it's not right to solve or exploit vulnerabilities. And at the same time, when 17,000 events were received at Hugging Face end, they were also using an AI agent to understand and defend. However, their AI agent refused because the guardrails were on for them. So, an AI agent or an LLM cannot differentiate between what a attacker with a malicious intent and what a defender with the right intent but the same logs is trying to do. So, in order to understand what exactly happened, they had to feed in the logs and try to understand, recreate the activity, which they were not able to do. And then they hosted an open source model, GLM 5.2, to basically analyze the activity and understand what was happening. Moving on, so the difference here is that uh, generally when an human attacks, uh, you are sure, okay, you are sure about certain factors that stay the same, uh, but when an AI agent tries to exploit something, cannot be super sure because there are a lot of factors that come into play. So it could be a nation state, another nation basically attacking your cybersecurity infrastructure, or maybe a criminal who you are not sure about. So you are never sure what exactly happened unless you have some concrete evidence to showcase. Hugging Face put out a message on Twitter stating that there was a threat and they had fixed it. Few days later, OpenAI stated that this was due to their new agent, uh, and they were responsible for it and were working alongside Hugging Face to understand things. Uh, Again, the issue was that there was a 0-day vulnerability in the proxy being used in the sandbox environment, which basically allowed the AI agent to escape the sandbox and get unrestricted internet access, which basically allowed all the events that followed, including lateral movement, hacking into Hugging Face infrastructure, and everything else. The point is that you have to be careful. There are things that could have lower impact standing alone. However, if you combine three of them, it is possible that those three vulnerabilities together can result into an high impact vulnerability as a whole. Uh, and again, the APT thing is advanced persistent threats. So there are groups that act on their will and decide what to attack, where to attack, and how to attack. They definitely have malicious intent. They use the C2 kits, which are control and command servers, to basically exfiltrate information from critical infra, critical servers, critical companies. The other side is autonomous agents, which can work continuously because they depend on compute, and their task is to just optimize the problem in a way they can solve the best and get the highest score. Even though human APTs stay undetected for years, understanding an AI agent's activity is even tougher because it brings a different flavor and a different way of evasion. The problem is that because the AI agent was able to escape the sandbox and tried solving the problem indirectly, uh, which is finding the answer keys and just submitting them in order to get the best score, the highest score possible. Uh, do you consider it as a success? Do you consider it as a failure? You can't really conclude on how do you differentiate between success and failure when the model does something like this, or do you just ignore and rerun the exam for the model to crack? uh, this is something which should be decided, and definitely you cannot decide an AI's cyber capability just through one model, though there's a concrete research about this, why exploits are misused and everything. I'll be showing you at the end of the video. And then we have what can we take away from the incident. It's more like containment over code. So it was, you can never be sure of what 0 days exist, because 0 day is something that came up and you were not aware as a maintainer of the code that this could come, because you never realized this bug could exist. um, how do you safeguard that? From a software perspective, you cannot, but at an infrastructure level, OpenAI could have done better, created some more guardrails, which would ideally stop the agent or try to block it for it to simply go and get internet access. The next one is behavior over signatures. It's time for organizations to start moving towards behavioral analysis and not just signature or some database type of thing, where they are able to match to certain extent and confirm if there is something malicious. Because every day the number of 0 days coming out is really concerning in a way, where defenders are just not aware of what could go wrong. Again, and the third point is that AI defenders were not able to first analyze the 17,000 logs in the first go, because there were guardrails turned on for them. There's a need to create an environment where if an agent is able to exploit 0 days in real time, defenders should be able to defend it in real time as well. That is using AI itself to block and defend and understand behavior of what the attack is. Now moving on to what interesting resources we have. So this is the exploit gem page. It basically shows what all models have attempted the exam, the exploit gem thing, and when they attempted, what was the score, how much tokens they consumed, and all of that stuff. You'll get access to paper, blog, and code here, the GitHub repo here. And there are two really good articles. One is from OpenAI explaining what actually happened as per them. And then there is a community article from a guy named Rob, who explained why it looks fishy. That is, it didn't have to attack Hugging Face infrastructure to really get the answer keys. It could have simply searched to get to the answer key or flags, and didn't need to attack Hugging Face directly. Secondly, because Mythos was trending a few days back, it was a possible faked scenario where the agent was instructed to do something malicious and to boost OpenAI. So we are not very sure of what exactly happened, but I'll link both these articles down in the description box. You can read them if you'd like to. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Have a great week ahead. Thank you very much.